Welcome to my channel. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. In this video, I will be going over the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction we are having in Taurus. I will be getting into the chart for the actual conjunction. Then I will be getting into Canada's chart and how this conjunction is showing up for Canadians. And then I will be getting into all 12 rising signs. So I will have timestamps listed below so that you can skip ahead to the section of the video that you wish to watch. But I do recommend watching the first section of this video where I get into the chart for the actual conjunction, because it will bring more context to the energies, especially once we get into all 12 rising signs. Now, Jupiter is going to reach 21 degrees on April 17th. So between April 17th and April 21st, 2024, we will have Jupiter and Uranus together at 21 degrees, and then they will actually conjunct again at 22 degrees. But this conjunction comes exact on April 20th. So that is when this conjunction really comes to a head. It's almost like a breaking point of the conjunction where the energies really intensify. Now, you want to check your personal birth chart, to see if you have any personal planets or points around 21 degrees of any of the fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. If you have personal planets or points, I would say anywhere from like 19 degrees to 24 degrees, this energy is going to be more personal and more intense for you. It's creating either an opposition if you have, personal planets or points in Scorpio, or a square if you have personal planets or points in Leo and Aquarius, and then a conjunction if you have personal planets or points in Taurus. So this can create tension. This can create something forming and coming up for you that you're having to move through, you're having to address. We want to remember that Jupiter is the planet of abundance and luck and optimism, opportunity, also the planet of expansion. So we have to be very intentional with this energy and very cautious, because sometimes Jupiter can bring what we don't want. It is the planet of expansion, so it can expand whatever it touches, what we want and what we don't want. Uranus is the planet of disruption, chaos, rebellion for rebellion's sake, awakening. Uranus is the great awakener. So I have also mentioned in my previous videos that I think this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction will bring in some form of awakening for the collective and also for us on an individual level, depending on how it's showing up in our personal birth charts. Now, I want to start by going over some of the Taurus energies, because this is going to really show you where the areas of our life collectively that this can be changing, where we can see changes and how this conjunction is showing up for us. So Taurus rules what we need to feel comfortable, secure, and safe. Taurus rules our livelihood. So this conjunction can change. And we want to remember too that Uranus rules innovation, changing the way we do things, bringing in new ways of doing things. And so Taurus, this can be around our money, finances, banking institutions, cost of living. So inflation can be a thing with this energy, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So there can be more inflation, unfortunately, with this energy. Now, Taurus also can rule like cost of goods. Like I mentioned before, cost of living, things too around the earth. So I've also predicted with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, more earthquakes. I think we will see more earthquakes around the world, possibly more intense earthquakes, but also seeing earthquakes in areas of the world that normally don't get earthquakes. So earthquakes, I think, is really big with this energy, and I've even felt it very much intuitively. But this can also show up in ways of like mudslides, volcanoes, things like that. Also trees, gardening, plants, how we grow our fruits and vegetables, agriculture, right? Ways of growing things can be changing with this energy, more innovative ways. Like we know there's a lot of lab grown stuff now. And speaking of that, meat is huge with Taurus, especially cows. So, and I've even felt intuitively, we have to watch the beef and cows. There's something going on with that. And I think there's going to be something with that, with this energy. So something changing around cows and maybe how they are, like the cattle, like what's actually going on with the cattle, maybe things they're feeding the cattle, but then also things like lab grown meats, I think can be a thing with this energy as well. So we really have to be watching, what we're eating, what we're buying, if you don't want that type of stuff, because I think it's definitely going to amplify with this energies, ways of growing meat and not necessarily natural in a sense. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And then Taurus also rules things like gold, precious metals, silver, diamonds. So we may see something around that with this energy. And then I also too predicted stuff around travel, like forms of long distance travel, like airplanes, trains, because of the Jupiter energy. We may see something around that, airplanes, trains, and then ways of commuting long distance. So not necessarily cars and vehicles, long distance forms of travel. So we want to watch that. And then religion. I think we're going to see changes around religious beliefs and belief systems in general, because that's that Jupiter energy. So I think we'll see a lot of people's belief systems, or I think we could see an amplification in religions and belief systems and changes in those areas of life. Also Taurus rules like our values, morality, things like that, Jupiter's morality. So people's values may be changing, or people's values may be questioned. Maybe the government's values are questioned, you know what I mean? There can be something around values, but our core values, what we need, want, and desire, maybe based on too what we're seeing play out in the world, that can be changing maybe, our belief systems, our values, and things like that. And now let's get into the actual conjunction, but like the aspects that it's making, because as you can see, this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is forming, or Mars is forming a sextile to the conjunction. And I really look at this, Mars being in Pisces, I really look at this as something can be shaken up here, or something can be really coming to a head, having you needing to take action or an opportunity to take action. There's something here about taking action, moving forward in a certain direction, and maybe whatever Jupiter and Uranus is shaking up for you, which we'll get a better feel once we get into all 12 rising signs, how this is showing up for you personally, and more collective measures, like talking more about the collective energies. This could be, having Mars in Pisces, again, something maybe around religions or water. I actually think this could be something with like water, gases, things like that. Maybe earthquakes this could definitely be earthquakes again, which is a huge prediction of mine. I really feel like there's something around earthquakes. But this is basically showing that there's something, maybe action taken, something around action. Plus Mars is right in the middle of Saturn and Neptune. Mars is approaching that Neptune conjunction. So there can be a lot of confusion maybe around the action being taken, or what we're seeing playing out in the world. There can be a lot of confusion around that. Or maybe there's deceptiveness, like maybe we're not seeing the whole story to something. So we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. And also too, if you look, we have the sun in Taurus at 1 degree forming a square to Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius at 2 degrees. So this is a new degree point for Pluto, because in 2023, Pluto did not reach 2 degrees. And we want to remember that Aquarius is being hit by this conjunction, right, in a form of a square. But Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus and Saturn, but Uranus. And so this Pluto is also being activated because of, with this conjunction. So I think we can see this in large groups of people, whether it's protesting, coming together in some way. I think that there is some type of transformational disruption taking place with the collective or humanity with this energy, because that Pluto's being activated. And this can also be more secrets revealed, more disclosure around something. Another thing with this conjunction was aliens, like interdimensional beings, or if you've watched my content, like I have talked about how I do think they're going to stage like an alien invasion. And I know that may sound crazy to some. Now, I have my own personal beliefs around aliens. I don't believe we're the only living beings in this universe, but I think it's more interdimensional. And so I think to be honest, have been programmed through entertainment, through movies and things, to be scared of otherworldly creatures. And I think that's always the case, to be honest. But I do feel like they may try to stage something also too, because we've seen that kind of leak out, right? Like we've already seen mentions of aliens and creatures being seen at, other beings being seen in certain places. So they're trying to leak it out slowly. I do feel like that can be part of this energy. So we do want to have that discernment. We don't always want to believe everything we see, especially because now we have AI, CGI. It's very hard to determine that what we're seeing is real or is it made up? Is it fake? But there can be something presented, with this energy that we are having to question. And again, that can stem back to the belief systems and values and things like that being questioned because of what we're seeing in the collective. So we have to be mindful. We have to be cautious. We have to have discernment and really just trust our own intuition. Does it feel right? Does it feel genuine, authentic? This is going to be a big thing. 2024, we're going to start seeing a lot of craziness, and it's going to heighten as we go on with time. And so, we do have to be cautious of that because of this Pluto energy being activated in Aquarius. We could see something around, there can be something presented around things that were hidden from the collective. There can also be things presented that is literally going to change the trajectory of the collective's journey, progress, and way of living, in a sense. And not that it's scary. It doesn't have to be scary. There doesn't have to be fear, right? We have to take care of our own energy, and this is where we really have to tap into the Saturn and Pisces energy, because this is what Saturn and Pisces is bringing in for us, the ability to take accountability and responsibility for our energy, our emotions, our experience by having, emotional maturity and having a good sense of kind of that discernment. Also know that we attract what we put out, and that is part of this Saturn and Pisces experience. And it's interesting that Saturn is sitting at that 15th degree point right in the middle of Pisces, which is the second decan or decan, however you want to say it, of Pisces. So it's interesting, but I do think we have to watch, kind of what is showing up. We also have Mercury retrograde, getting ready to form that conjunction to the North Node. Mercury will be stationing direct on April 25th. If you want to know more about those energies, I do have a video on my channel. But again, Mercury is retrograde. So there's a lot we're seeing. There's a lot we're hearing that is confusing, that maybe we're not understanding completely. We also have Venus getting ready to form that conjunction to Chiron. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos as well. There can be a lot showing up the end of April around healing, around your personal journey, personal growth, progress. And this really is a time to have that self-awareness and pay attention to what is showing up for you emotionally, intuitively, and even in your physical reality, because there's a lot showing up to show you old karmic cycles, old karmic patterns that you need to release, what is no longer meant to be in your reality or experience anymore. And it's time to step into this new journey. And you're also going to have a better understanding of how much you have grown on an individual level over the last year in itself. So I know this is kind of side energy to this conjunction, but it is still something we're in and going through. Now, also too, I wanted to mention, because of the Uranian energy and that Aquarius energy being activated, we may see more around AI technology and things like that. There may even be disruptions with Wi-Fi that we have to maybe watch for with this energy. And before I get into Canada's chart, I just want to mention, like, this conjunction is not just affecting the Taurus areas of your life. This conjunction is activating Taurus, Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Pisces, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, and Uranus rules Aquarius, and then it's happening in Taurus. So you also want to see where you have Jupiter and Uranus in your own personal birth chart, because it can be affecting those areas of life as well. So we do want to be watching. It's like a meshing of all these areas of life that this energy can be showing up. So now let's get into Canada's chart and how this energy is showing up for Canadians. Okay, so this conjunction is happening in Canada's 11th house of people and social groups, groups that come together. This conjunction is 6 degrees away from Canada's natal Pluto. So that's also kind of interesting, especially too, because Saturn's forming that sextile to Pluto. So I feel like too, for Canadians, there can be a lot revealed with this conjunction, a lot that was hidden from the people revealed. And I think we're already seeing a lot of that kind of show up and play out. But I think that there might be some disruption here around like seeing more maybe riots and protests. I think seeing people coming together for a specific cause or belief in a sense. Now, we also want to remember that Jupiter and Uranus come together roughly every 13, 14 years. But the last time Jupiter and Uranus came together in Taurus was 1941. That was during World War II. And so we can start to see maybe some themes and topics around what was going on then showing up now. Now, we do have a lot of energy in that 10th house of government, authority, corporations. And so I do still think there's a lot going on with the government that is behind the scenes that we're not seeing. I have not watched any news on Canada, which I probably should have. Watched some of my alternative media videos. I have not had time, but so I don't really know anything new that's been going on. But just by looking at this chart and the energies, I would say there's a lot more disclosure. There's a lot more secrets being revealed about the government. I think that because of that Mercury retrograde, and at this point, Mercury is not that far off from the Neptune. I think we can be hearing a lot that's kind of going on behind the scenes, but not necessarily a lot of clarity yet. Like, not a lot of clarity as to what is going to happen. I think after April 25th, when we have Mercury stationing direct on top of that North Node, we're going to hear something pretty big that is really we're going to get a better understanding of kind of maybe what's going on with JT, what's going on with Pierre Polyev. I've seen mixed things with that, one about him stepping down, and then a lot around him being in trouble legally with money and stuff. So I think that there's more of that coming out as well that's going to affect the trajectory of his career. Yeah, so and when I did the JT video and I went into a solar return, it really did show that there was, I believe, changes around his career this year, and it was in the 12th house. So it could show, changes and endings with his career, or something ending, or also the 12th house can rule things that are hidden. So there may have been, so that can also show in ways of things that he was hiding being revealed, which I think we're really starting to see. I actually think a lot of what I said in that video, we're really starting to see a lot of it kind of present itself and manifest and come out. Now, in 2010, we had a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at 0 degrees of Aries, and they actually ended up forming because of the retrograde cycle in Pisces as well. But during that whole time period in 2010, there was that is when actually Canada hosted the Vancouver Olympics, and also, hosted the Vancouver Olympics, but also hosted the G7 and G20 summit. So I thought that was really interesting. We also had the earthquakes in Haiti in 2010, and there was also a huge power outage due to a big explosion. So when I was kind of looking back at 2010 events, those were the big things that stood out to me that would be influenced by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So I think overall, for Canada and Canadians, one of the big energies that we really have to watch for is, again, we want to remember that Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is Canada's 6th house. So this could be the healthcare system. This could be labor workers and just workers in general, because that's that 6th house. Things, areas of service. And Jupiter also rules that 9th house, which is long distance travel, foreign cultures, and that's that's also where Saturn, Mars, and Neptune are, and that's also where Canada's natal Jupiter is. So I think we need to be watching long distance forms of travel, especially for Canada, just because it's actually hitting that ninth house. So not only is it a natural, like a general energy of Jupiter, but it's also hitting the ninth house in Canada. So I think, long forms of travel, air travel, trains, things like that to watch, those areas. And then also Uranus rules the eighth house of money and investments. So I think we have to watch for that too. The eighth house is also death. The eighth house is also like other people's money. So maybe money coming in from other countries, things like that, which I've kind of mentioned in my previous videos. And then of course that 11th house, which is protests, riots, people coming together, large groups of people. That is, what is ruled in that 11th house. So I hope this kind of gives you an idea for my fellow Canadians, kind of how this energy is showing up a little bit. And then even if we just look at the ruler of this conjunction, which is Venus, Venus is in the 10th house of government, authority, corporations, and then the natal placement for Venus is in the 12th house of secrets and things that are hidden. So it's really interesting. I really think that there's going to be a lot more secrets revealed. I just think it's the energy we're currently in. I know I've been repeating myself in previous videos, but I just think that that's the energy that we're in. And we do keep seeing, we keep seeing, things that were kind of hidden from the public being revealed, especially in Canada and especially with our government. And so I do think we're going to see a lot more coming out as the time goes on. So now let's get into all 12 rising signs. Aries, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your second house of money and finances, material possessions, your values, your livelihood. So there's something really beautiful that can be showing up for you. There could be something changing in this area of life. Jupiter also rules your ninth house of higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, your belief systems. So there can be something changing there as well. And Uranus rules your 11th house of your friends and your friendships, social groups, your connections, your associations. And then Jupiter also rules that 12th house of things that are hidden, secrets, endings, also self-sabotage, self-undoing, escapism. Jupiter's ruling all of this energy as well currently, the Saturn, Mars, and Neptune. So, and then also with this sextile to Mars, which Mars is your chart ruler, there may be something showing up for you where you really do feel the need to take action in a certain direction. But there might not be a lot of clarity at the moment because Mercury retrograde is in your first house. So this is a time to have discernment. This is a time to have self-awareness. I would not say necessarily jump into anything new, but don't necessarily allow a significant opportunity to just pass by. If you can, hold off and wait until Mercury stations direct, which is April 25th. But this is a time period where you do want to have that awareness to see, what is showing up for you, especially around money and finances. You want to be careful of any escapism tendencies or self-sabotage and with you and who you are, because of all this Aries energy in the first house. That first house rules you, your self-identity, who you are, your character, your personality, your physical body. So you're kind of going through a lot, especially having the North Node and just having that solar eclipse in the first house. You're really going through a lot when it has to do with you and who you are and your self-identity. And you're going through a lot of changes, and there's a new direction you're really moving into with that North Node energy. Taurus, you have this conjunction in your first house. So there's something really powerful here showing up for you. That first house rules the self, you, your character, your personality, your physical body, your perception of this physical reality. How you view the world is in the lens of that first house. So there might be a huge awakening taking place here for you. Jupiter also rules your eighth house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, also psychological healing and transformation. So there could be something very powerful shifting here psychologically for you. Uranus rules your 10th house of career and public reputation. So there may be something shifting when it has to do with literally who you are and what you are known for out in the world, your public image, or what you want to be known for out in the world. Jupiter also rules your 11th house of friends and friendships, social groups, how you connect within groups and associations. So there really can be, I feel like, some massive form of awakening taking place with this conjunction happening in the first house. Gemini, you have this conjunction taking place in your 12th house of things and places that are hidden, secrets, things you kind of hide from everybody else. This can be also escapism, self-sabotage, self-undoing. The 12th house can rule places like hospitals, asylums, retreat centers. The 12th house can also rule endings, karma, spirituality. So this truly can be a form of an awakening for you. There can be some type of shift in your energy with this conjunction. Jupiter also rules your 7th house of relationships and one-on-one connections. So there could be something really unexpected and beautiful showing up around relationships. Jupiter also rules your 10th house of career and public reputation, your public image. So there can also be something shifting in that area around career, or also too with Mars and having that sextile there. There really can be like some action that needs to be taken or a new direction that you're wanting to move in with your career and public reputation. And then Uranus rules your 9th house of long distance travel, higher education, higher knowledge, astrology. Also, publishing is in the 9th house. So this conjunction really is affecting and showing up in multiple areas of our life. But I do think that this conjunction is bringing in a leveling up, a form of enlightenment, a form of awakening. Cancer, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your 11th house of friends and friendships, social groups, online connections, all of your groups and associations, your hopes, your dreams. That is what the 11th house represents. So this conjunction is showing up and can bring something new in this area of life. There could be something going on with a friend or a group that you are connected to. Now, Jupiter also rules your 6th house of work, health, and daily routine, or pets. The 6th house is the labor, the work that you put into your career. The 10th house is your career, but the 6th house is the labor. The 6th house is also your daily routines, your nutrition habits. So there may be something coming up for you around that. You're wanting to shift and change that in a beautiful way, in some way. Now, Uranus rules your 8th house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, psychological healing and transformation, also death. Rebirth is in that 8th house. It is the house of transformation. And so, this conjunction is working with this area of life as well. And then also Jupiter rules your 9th house of higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, philosophy, belief systems, religion. Astrology is also in the 9th house. Publishing is in the 9th house. So there is quite a lot going on here, and this conjunction is affecting multiple areas of our life. So there can be a lot going on with friends. There could be action needing to be taken maybe with friends and travel because of Mars being in that 9th house. Maybe you're deciding to travel very suddenly. Maybe you're deciding to publish something very suddenly or take action towards doing so. And also Mars ruling that 10th house, and all this energy in the 10th house of career and public reputation. There could be a lot of changes going on in this area as well. Leo, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in the 10th house of career and public reputation. So there can be something really beautiful coming in around your career or wanting to change your career in some way. There can also be something beautiful changing around what you are known for out in the world or how you want to be known out in the world. Now, Jupiter also rules your 5th house of children and creativity, passion, romance, hobbies, interests, is all in that 5th house. So this conjunction is affecting this area of life as well. And then Uranus rules your 7th house of relationships, relationships and one-on-one connections. So there could be changes here for you. This could show up as an engagement because of the 10th house energy and the 7th house connection. There can be an engagement or a leveling up within a relationship. It could definitely show up in that way. And then Jupiter also rules your 8th house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, psychological healing and transformation. So all of these areas of life are being affected by this conjunction. And we want to remember that Uranus is the planet of disruption, of chaos, of shock. So because of the Jupiter effect, I feel like it's not necessarily going to be like an awful energy, or, I don't like to use bad or good or positive or negative. I think just with the awareness, we can move through these energies consciously and effectively. But I do think that having the Uranian element is bringing in the shock effect, the shock value, like whatever this conjunction is bringing in for us is going to be what we least expect it to be. Virgo, you have this conjunction taking place in your 9th house of higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, philosophy, astrology, belief systems. Publishing is in the 9th house. So this conjunction is working with these areas of life, maybe something really significantly changing around your belief systems or around astrology. Astrology is in the 9th house, or maybe around travel. Now, Jupiter rules your 4th house of home, family, property, and real estate. So this conjunction is also showing up in this area of life, maybe wanting to change the home, maybe wanting to move like far away because of that 9th house and the 4th house. Like maybe you're deciding to pick up and leave and move across the world, or, something along those lines. Moving further, not necessarily local travel. It's like long distance travel. But there definitely is something showing up around home and family with this conjunction as well because of the Jupiter influence. Now, Uranus rules your 6th house of work, health, and daily routine. And also, too, I want to mention with that 4th house is the 4th house is also what you do behind the scenes. It's your private life. The 10th house is what you do out in the world, but the 4th house is what you do behind the scenes. And so there can also be something shifting with that as well, like your private life. And then with the 6th house rules your work, health, and daily routine. So there also may be some significant changes going on with maybe your nutrition habits, your daily routine in some way, or your work, like the labor that you put into your career, the labor that you put into your work. That is that 6th house. And then the 7th house of relationships and one-on-one connections. Jupiter is the co-ruler of that 7th house. So there can also be something very beautiful showing up around relationships, especially too, because we have Mars here forming a sextile to that conjunction. And because it's a sextile, it could be like a really beautiful opportunity coming in around a relationship or partnership. So you definitely want to watch for that. But then also Mars is ruling all of this energy in the 8th house, which I know, Virgo, we've been going through a lot of psychological healing and transformation. But this can be really beautiful for us. If you watch my content, I'm Virgo rising, but this could be really beautiful for us. This could literally be a leveling up psychologically, shifting our mindset in some way, really being able to release and let go of what has been bogging us down and weighing us down because we overthink everything. And I really look at this as a beautiful enlightenment, awakening, and shift. Libra, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your 8th house of your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, psychological healing, and transformation. So those themes and topics are all being affected by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Now, the 8th house can also have this death and rebirth energy. It is the house of transformation. There can be some form of enlightenment or awakening taking place psychologically with this 8th house conjunction. Now, Jupiter also rules your 3rd house of your mind, your mindset, communication, also vehicles, siblings, cousins, local travel. So those areas of life are also being affected. And then Uranus rules your 5th house of children, creativity, passion, romance, hobbies, interests. So that area, and then of course your 6th house, because Jupiter is the co-ruler of Pisces, and plus we have Mars and Pisces forming a sextile to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So this conjunction could literally be pushing you into forming some type of new daily routine or focusing more on your health or starting a new nutrition habit, like really changing something in this area of life, and you're wanting to take action. You're ready to move forward. Scorpio, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, one-on-one connections. So something really beautiful can be showing up unexpectedly around relationships. Also, too, because the Mars is forming a sextile, which Mars is in that fifth house of romance and passion. So there could be something really beautiful forming here with a relationship, and Mars is your co-ruler. Jupiter also rules your second house of money, finances, and material possessions and your values. So this conjunction is also affecting this area of life as well. There could be something around money and finances showing up. And then Aquarius, which rules your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. There can also be something showing up. And also that fourth house rules your private life, what you do behind the scenes. There can also be something showing up around those areas of life as well. And then Jupiter being the co-ruler of that fifth house and also having Mars in there. There can really be something beautifully changing here in these areas of life with a partner, maybe connecting your finances, maybe a lot of passion, romantic connections, maybe deciding to move in together. There could definitely be something really big and beautiful and surprising showing up around relationships. Sagittarius, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in your sixth house of work, health, and daily routine. So this is the house of the work and the labor that you put into your career. Your career is in the 10th house, but the sixth house is the labor that you put in on a daily basis. Your daily routine, your home routine, also your nutrition habits. Pets are also in the sixth house. So, and health. And so this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is working with those areas of life. Now, Jupiter is your chart ruler. So this literally could be a form of an awakening for you, leveling up. Like you could literally be feeling the energy of this. I mean, we're all going to, but especially you Sagittarius risings. This really could be awakening and enlightenment, and also shifting and changing, something about the direction that you're moving in, maybe something around your self-identity, something around your character, your personality, your perception, your body. And also too, Uranus ruling the electrical systems in our body. So I would watch for that. I would try to do a lot of grounding. You may feel like the circulatory system, I know I didn't say that right, is changing within your body. So kind of watch for that. You may also feel the intensity of the energies. Now Jupiter also rules your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. So this area of life is being affected and also, feeling the intensity of these energies as well. So there might be something around home. There might be something. The fourth house also rules what you do behind the scenes, your private life. So there could be something changing around that. There may be something you're wanting to take action with when it has to do with your home and family and changing the dynamics because of the Mars in the fourth house forming a sextile to Jupiter Uranus. So there definitely could be some action wanting to be taken in this area of life. And then Uranus rules your third house of your mindset, communication, siblings, cousins, vehicles, also your local community, neighbors, and neighborhood. So that those themes and topics are also being affected by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction as well. Capricorn, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your fifth house of children, creativity, passion, romance, hobbies, interests. Everything you do for fun is in that fifth house. So there really could be something like a beautiful surprise showing up in this area of life, maybe something with your children that you're having to address. Maybe you get pregnant, and I'm sure for some of you, you will. But Jupiter also rules your 12th house of endings, escapism, self-sabotage, secrets. Also the 12th house can rule things in places that are hidden, like hospitals, asylums, retreat centers. Jupiter is also the co-ruler of your third house, of your mind, your mindset, communication, vehicles, siblings, cousins, community, neighbors. So those themes and topics are also being affected by this conjunction. And then Uranus rules your second house of money, finances, and material possessions, your personal values. So all of these areas of life are being, touched by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Aquarius, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in the fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. The fourth house is also what you do behind the scenes, your private life. The 10th house is what you do out in the world, out in public, and the fourth house is what you do behind the scenes. So there could be a lot changing in this area of life. There could be a lot changing within the home or maybe moving. Jupiter also rules your 11th house of friends and friendships, social groups, online connections, groups and associations, your hopes, your dreams. And Jupiter is the co-ruler of your second house of money and finances and material possessions. So those areas of life are also being kind of shaken up by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And then Uranus is your chart ruler. So you're really feeling this. This literally could be some type of a leveling up or awakening for you. I've talked about this with Sagittarius rising as well. And it's going to be the same with Pisces rising because these are your chart rulers. This literally can be a form of an awakening. There could be a significant shift with this energy. So pay attention to kind of what is showing up for you emotionally, energetically, and spiritually and physically, because there could be a beautiful leveling up. Now, with Mars being in the second house of money and finances, there may be something around money and finances and home and family that you feel like you have to take action with. So yeah, just be mindful of that. And Pisces, you have this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction happening in your third house of community, neighbors, neighborhood, vehicles, siblings, cousins, also your mindset, communication, speaking, reading, writing. That's all those third house themes and topics. So there could be something really beautiful showing up for you around this area of life. Now, Jupiter also rules your 10th house of career and public reputation. So there may be something showing up around your career that's unexpected, not necessarily good or bad or negative or positive. I don't like to use those terms, but there can be change. And Jupiter is also your ruler, your co-ruler. You're ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So this literally could be a form of an awakening for you. Pay attention to how you're feeling energetically, emotionally, what is showing up for you. You have a lot of energy in that first house right now with Saturn, Mars, and Neptune. And Mars is forming a sextile to this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, meaning that you may be wanting to take action with something. There may be an opportunity showing up where maybe you're deciding to buy a car because it's that third house, or something along those lines. There could be a shift in mindsets. Yeah, let me know in the comments below how this shows up for you, because it'd be interesting. But Uranus also rules that 12th house of spirituality and karma, endings, things and places that are hidden, like hospitals, asylums, retreat centers, also escapism, self-sabotage. So yeah, I really feel like this is huge spiritual energy for you. This is huge enlightenment and awakening energy for you. I really feel like you definitely need to have the self-awareness at this time to pay attention to what is showing up for you, because there really can be a beautiful energetic shift with this energy.